Hi, it's Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Monday the 24th of March. And it's a bounce off the 50-day moving average and RSI 50, just what we needed to start the week, and we're back inside that range, based at around 86.10, and obviously looking for the top of the range through 8900. Top of the rising trend channel from the autumn of 2023, 89.70, and that's what we're looking for as the target by the end of next month. On the downside, obviously not expecting anything lower now than 8500. Which was recent, or basically post-January support for this market. But the RSI 50 rebound, probably the best thing of the day so far. Moving on to the DAX, which is also doing rather well at the moment, or was, up 0.5%, staying within that rising trend channel from November. While we're above that floor there, around 22,600, look at the top of the channel there, 24,300. By the end of next month, RSI staying above neutral 50, so we're expecting more on the upside here towards 24,000. Worst case at the moment, it's got to head back down to the 50-day line and post-February support there at 22,200. Moving on to the Dow, and here the situation that we're sort of trading either side of the 200-day moving average at 42,000, RSI still below neutral 50, so unless we get a proper end-of-day close above that 200-day line, we've got the risk of a partial or even full retest of recent support towards 41,000, and that's November support line projection. But it has to be said, looking a little bit better than, well, as it was on Friday, looking a bit better than the price action in terms of it being below the 200-day moving average. So hopefully there will be a push up towards 43,000 by the end of next month. Moving on to Bitcoin, and we remember the big short in this market, allegedly at $84,332 million. Obviously, at the moment, that's not looking too clever, let's say, but we are at recent resistance at 87,000, so there could be a failure here. But the problem is that the RSI is now back above neutral 50. The 200-day line is rising, and we're well above the floor of the rising trend channel there at 81,000. So on the charting basis, it looks like being short's not too clever. The initial target here towards 90,000, which is also the area of the 50-day moving average. On the downside, if we do break down below 81,000, then the lowest now expected is towards the 77 or 78,000 area, which was resistance on the way up and recent support. Moving along to gold, and here the excitement continues, but at least we're finding support above the 3,000 level, and while we're above that, certainly looking for 3,200 by the end of next month, at the top of that rising trend channel from back in November. Worst case at the moment, it's got to test the 50-day line at 28,990, but that does seem a long way away, probably 28,980, a better potential stop loss, or better potential support area for this market, even though the higher highs for March have given a lower RSI trade, so there is a little bit of bearish divergence, and that does suggest a dip below 3,000 may be necessary before this market moves along to the upside. Moving on to the stocks, and a stock which has been horrible, normally horrible. It basically normally has the odd spike, and that's sold into as a one-day wonder. We had one of those in September, then November, January, etc. But this time, as suspected, with that very strong candle on Friday, it's not a one-day wonder, it's at least a two-day wonder, and we're perhaps heading towards the 0.06 pence area at the top of that broadening triangle from back in November. I can do that in coming days. Ideally today we close above February resistance at 0.04. That would be a decent look for the shares. On to Guardian Metal, which is feeling the help from executive orders, an executive order from the President of the United States last week, and announced that today. 50 is the top of that rising trend channel. We're looking for that by the end of this month, especially while we remain above the old August support from last year, around 37 pence, so above 37, looking for at least 50, and probably upgrading that pretty soon. Next level up would probably be along the towards the line that I've just drawn there, which, as you can see, is heading towards the 60 pence area. Maybe that's a target for next month. On to Greatland Gold, which is also in a sweet spot at the moment. Looks like we've got a bull flag at the highs here forming, and that suggests that The next target there, which is 13 pence, should be hit in the next few weeks, probably well before the end of next month, which is what we were looking at before. But perhaps on this basis, we could actually head there by the end of this month, while we remain above recent support around 10.5 pence. Moving along to Metals One, which is one of the stars of recent weeks. Looks like it's regrouping for a fresh leg to the upside. This looks like a mid-move consolidation based around the 0.83, 0.82 area. And above that, looking for as much as 1.5 pence by the end of next month. We're helped along by the way that it looks as though the 50 and 200-day moving averages are going to a golden cross, and that tends to be the strongest part of the cycle, which obviously it already has been. Moving along to Power Metal, which is obviously closely related to Guardian Metal. It looks like the market finally realizing the value that this company has, both in Guardian Metal and its own projects. Initial target here, 16 pence, which could hopefully come in by the end of this month. Looking for up to 18 or 19 pence by the end of next month on the basis of the push for the RSI through RSI 50, neutral 50, that we've just had, and the push above the 50-day line now rising near the lows. So that is also another signal there, a positive one. Moving on to Petra Diamonds, and here you can see that we're in this triangle. Red candles for the last few days, but we've got the rising 50-day line and the top of the triangle there from back in October, heading for 38 pence. We're looking for that by the end of next month, the longer we remain above the 50-day line, and after the double bounce for the RSI at and above neutral 50. Heading back below that 50-day line, really delaying the upside scenario at 28 pence. Moving on to a stock in a rampant bull run at the moment, which is Rockhopper. And here you can see that a rising trend channel. The minimum there looks to be 55 pence by the end of next month, while we're above the 50-day line in the floor of the channel there at 37 pence. Ideally now we stay on the right side of 40 pence on an end-of-day close basis, backed by the double bounce for the RSI that we've had at neutral 50, so a leading indicator signal on the upside. On to Roquefort, which is perhaps not so much a technical buy here, but with the recent fundamental changes, change of CEO, etc., and board member, looks like the worst is over here. An inverted head and shoulders looks to be the pattern that we've got, based at 1.9 pence, and initial target here, the 50-day line at 2.6. Then looking for 4.5 pence maybe by the end of May, if we can get a swift rebound and stay above the 1.9 pence area. On to S4, which is a rather torrid time in the recent past, but it looks as though we've got a bit of a positive here with a double bounce or even triple bounce off the RSI 50 area, breaking that line of resistance from October, 36 pence, which means we're looking for at least 43 pence, which would turn this situation around in a technical basis, if not a fundamental one. Finishing off with Westminster Group, which I think I looked at the end of the week, but can't have too much of a good thing here. We've had the bear trap gap reversal and pushing higher above a rising 50-day line at 1.45 pence, looking for 2.6 or 2.7 pence by the end of next month, with an unfilled gap to the upside and that rising 50-day line, as well as bullish divergence going into the turnaround, helping the cause quite well. At this stage, only back below 1.7 pence, delaying the upside scenario. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.